son of bridgeworm. It just doesn't stop. The shockwaves of the giant incident have spread far and wide. Bad enough that people have died. Many people have died, but even in death, the giant is still messing everything up. Even after the giant's death aura had faded enough to allow crews to begin the long, disgusting task of disposing of its body, the monster's biology itself was creating havoc everywhere. Its blood causes mutations in both men and non-human creatures. It was also host to parasites that are not native to this world. In the case of the bridgeworm incident, it was the result of an accident exposing the creature to the giant's blood. The resulting mutation changed the normally bone-white creature to something blood-red and fleshy. The creature also obtained several new abilities and displayed wholly new behaviours, many of them aggressive. A driver transporting a portion of the giant's remains back to the agency base, succumbing to fatigue from the long hours or perhaps the effects of close contact with the remains, passed out behind the wheel as his truck entered a tunnel. The vehicle slammed into the tunnel's wall, killing him instantly and breaking the seal on the containers housing the giant's remains. Those remains soaked and tainted the surrounding area. It was simply bad luck that there happened to be a bridgeworm that was making its home in that tunnel. The accident contaminated the creature with the foreign substances, which caused the mutation. After that, automobile accidents in that area skyrocketed. This variant of the bridgeworm can now emit a powerful chemical, one that causes hallucinations and affects the depth perception of people exposed. Several other senses are also affected, affecting things like balance and spatial perception, making it nearly impossible to drive a car. This red bridgeworm also behaves atypically. Unlike the rest of its kind, it will now leave its tunnel in order to secrete the chemical in as many places as possible, because it only takes a little to affect a human's senses. Combined with the acid the bridgeworm uses to make the roads slippery, a car accident isn't too far in the future. It does this to get the person to vacate their vehicle and investigate the cause of the accident. With their compromised judgment and senses, plus the effects of whatever injury they took from the crash, the victim is in real danger when the mutated predator goes in for the kill. The red bridgeworm is much faster and more flexible than the common variant. It moves less like a worm and more like a snake. Plus, the arms it uses to drag itself are much stronger, able to peel the roof off a car with ease. It is also a much more voracious eater. A normal bridgeworm will enter hibernation after catching and consuming a victim, with a period of inactivity usually following the hunt. With its ability to flatten itself and blend into walls, many people have driven past a bridgeworm without ever noticing its existence. The mutated version, by comparison, is an active hunter, going in and out of tunnels in order to catch food. And its diet is not restricted to humans. The creature will eat humans, but also animals and, in some cases, other bridgeworms. As far as attacking others of its species goes, the red worm will actually invade their tunnels, then aggressively attack. It usually catches the bridgeworms hibernating and off guard. Being much stronger and more aggressive than the usual worm, the red will usually win. Then it will devour the other creature and take over its tunnel, letting it set up a new hunting ground once it has exhausted its old one. On the one hand, it's good that the number of bridgeworms is rapidly reducing. If its diet consisted only of other bridgeworms, this would be no problem at all. But the red worm is depopulating areas of all living creatures. Plus, it's fast enough that tracking it is a real problem. The only way to discern its location is by listening to incident reports and seeing which area is experiencing a spike in motor vehicle accidents. The creature doesn't even hold to hunting or nesting patterns either. It seems to set off in a random direction, eating when it can and nesting when it needs to. Investigation of its abandoned nests has shown us the reason for its speedy travel. It can travel underground, unseen by those of us on the surface. The acid the red worm produces is an order of magnitude stronger than that of the bridgeworm. The same mechanism a regular worm uses to polish walls and floors to make them slippery, the red worm utilizes to dissolve metal and concrete. This is probably why the mutated creature is constantly hunting. Its body must be constantly eating itself alive to perform this feat. Otherwise, it would probably starve to death. It must also digest quickly and completely, as waste is rarely found. This lack of waste makes it harder to track. Nothing is hardy enough to survive its powerful digestive system. The greatest problem right now is that agency resources are stretched to the breaking point. With the agency itself overworked, overstressed, and operating at less than full capacity, the red bridgeworm has vanished. While we may have an idea of its general location, its precise whereabouts are unknown. The deaths in its target area are not decreasing, so we know that it is still actively feeding. But while it continues to evade us, it cannot be killed or captured. It is hypothesized that it possesses an advanced form of the camouflage that allows regular bridgeworms to blend in with tunnel walls. The only thing that can be done is to spray as many tunnels as we can with both salt and the giant's neutralizing agent. Hopefully, the chemical agent will hamper the red bridgeworm's abilities. Or better yet, kill it before it has a chance to move on to another area. Fingers crossed.